Avoid dating these three types of women: drama queen, control freak, and perpetual victim. Throughout this video, I'm going to give you context for each. What are the characteristics? How does it impact your relationship? And what is my personal advice to you, whether you are involved with a drama queen, a control freak, or a woman who's always a victim? This is really important stuff to consider moving forward, even if you are somebody watching who is single, so that you can avoid committing to them in the first place. And if you are somebody who's dating, you're in a relationship, and you're starting to have serious problems and a pattern is starting to form, you don't really understand where it's coming from, could be one of these three. Hopefully this helps you make the right decision in your personal life. So with that said, let's get right into it. And for those of you who are new, welcome to Relearning Relationships. My name is Christian, and I teach men to master relationships righteously, prepare for marriage, and find a godly woman. But of course, it always starts with you. Your standards, your morals, your modus operandi, how you operate, how you think, who you are. Because there's a lot of men out there who will see a woman that's a drama queen or a control freak or a victim, and they want to save her, they want to fix her, they want to change her, or they just think it's part of the package. They enter a relationship expecting a woman to treat them like this. That's how bad it's gotten. That's how low the standard is. This is what I'm going to change with this video for you. So when searching for a woman to date, get to know, and ultimately marry, it's essential to be aware of potential red flags that may indicate compatibility issues or potential problems down the line. These are the three types of women you want to avoid, or at least reconsider dating, along with context for each: the drama queen, the control freak, and the victim. So let's start with the drama queen. And next to each one, I've linked a Bible verse which relates to the topic. Proverbs 21 verse 9 says, "It is better to dwell in the corner of the housetop than with a brawling woman in a wide house." Translation: you are better off isolated, living in the rooftop of your house, which could have harsh conditions, a lot of sun, depending on the climate, snowing, raining, whatever, than you being indoors in the comfort of your big home with a woman that's arguing, that's causing drama with you. And that's from the Word of God. There's actually more verses on this, but I had to pick out one, so I just chose this one. So many young men and so many older men, it's literally in pop culture, right? You see it in movies and shows. You see like the typical husband with the wife, and he makes a joke about it, right? Oh, you know what women are like? Always causing drama. This is how low the standard is. Let me let you guys in on a secret. When you have a great woman in your life, there's chemistry, there's compatibility, she's a godly woman, she doesn't cause any drama. The woman I have in my life has not caused me any drama at all. She has brought me peace every day thus far, and she continues to do so. The quality of women my clients find, because I help them and I teach them this stuff, their women also bring them peace. Guys that come to me with problems, they keep dating women that cause drama, and they think it's normal, but it's not. It doesn't matter whether she's lack of desire for you, she has her own issues. All that matters is she's causing me this shit, and it's unnecessary. You don't need to have to go through this. Okay? So I want you to get that out of your mind, remove that out of your heart. That is something that you shouldn't expect getting into a relationship. I've had girlfriends before in the past when I was younger. Absolutely, who caused drama. And back then I did think as well, oh, maybe it's normal. But as I matured and I started to go very deep into studying relationships, I realized, no. A godly woman brings you peace all the days of your life. It's written in Proverbs 31:10-31. I'll link a video at the end on the 5 character qualities of a wife, which I made a very long, in-depth video on this topic. Talk about my situation and the woman I have, the qualities she has, and the qualities I recommend you all look for in a woman. It's even good for women to watch because they can aspire to develop those traits as well. But that's biblical. So you guys thinking, oh, it's okay to be with a woman that causes drama. It's not. You have to nip that in the bud right away, or avoid it outright by not getting involved with her. Okay? So what are the characteristics of a drama queen? Well, she constantly seeks attention. I'm not saying attention from you, because your woman should seek attention from you. A drama queen does things to seek attention externally outside of you. What sort of woman that loves and respects you goes outside of you to seek any form of love other than God? You'd have to question that. She's creating conflict with you all the time. So couples have disagreements, misunderstandings, little things, but if you and your woman love each other, especially she's calm, she's a feminine woman, you can sit down and talk things through. This whole idea that women get dramatic and emotional, a lot of this comes from like feminism and pop culture. Yes, people have health problems nowadays. People's hormones are out of whack. People's morals are out of whack. But I'm telling you right now, guys, when you have a good woman in your life, she speaks to you kindly. She speaks to you with respect. She's cautious of how she treats you because she wants to be treated well herself. I've never seen my woman get emotional like these feminists claim. I've seen feminists get emotional. Back in the day, I've seen women that weren't right for me get emotional. But a woman that treats you well, that loves you, doesn't behave that way. So couples can have little issues. But a woman that's causing conflict with you often, on a weekly basis, monthly basis, that's not good. You may have even recognized some of this from being with having a mother that was a drama queen. Some of you grew up with a toxic mother. She thrives on drama, conflict, always gossiping, watching people argue and fight. She loves that stuff. You're going to see this sort of woman have frequent emotional outbursts, right? Everything's peaceful, everything's good for a few weeks, and then she just finds something stupid or small and she just blows it out of proportion. Screaming, shouting, insulting you, belittling you in a manipulative way. If she doesn't get what she wants, crocodile tears. All sorts of things like that. There's a little bit of manipulation these traits typically overlap. Bit of control freak, right? Bit of controlling behavior. But the drama queen, it's more so irrational. It's more so emotional. There's no flaw underneath it. There's no reasoning. It's just a woman that's unstable often than not, or emotionally immature. And often when a woman settles for a man and she feels like she's with her last option instead of the man she really wants, she doesn't feel bad to insult him or fly off the handles, because it's her way of expressing her frustration with her poor choice in a man. Instead of leaving you, which she may eventually, usually she'll just settle and have all these outbursts. I never hear stories of guys that have a good woman in their life talking about, yeah, I've seen my girl have these outbursts. If your woman feels like you're the man of her dreams, she's treating you well. Think about it. If you had a woman that was a 10 out of 10 to you, a godly girl, a sweet girl, are you going to start acting like a loser or a pussy around her? You're going to start being weak? And of course not. You're going to want to be a better man for her because you feel lucky to have her. You're going to be on your, not say your best behavior, but you're going to be genuine with her. You're going to be honest with her and loving with her. You're not going to treat her badly. You know? So if your woman is having frequent emotional outbursts, there's something wrong, and that's dramatic behavior. A woman that's engaging in manipulative behavior, right? Or exaggerating situations to gain sympathy or attention. Turning people against you, stuff like that, right? I mean, everything in her life is drama. There's drama with her co-workers, there's drama with her friends, there's drama with her family, and she's causing drama with you. She's the common denominator. She is the problem. And guys get with a woman like this and they think, well, you know what women are like, as long as she's hot, it doesn't matter. And this is how weak men are. This is why the problems are the way they are in the West. Because men have gotten so soft and lustful that some women, just by dealing with weak men, they become so entitled, they will be dramatic. Because no one's ever sat and told them, what is wrong with you? This is not acceptable. Their own fathers treat them like little princesses, don't teach them right from wrong. Their mothers are a bad example. Then all the men they date are cucks. And then you try and date her, and she's just as terrible. Because it's reinforcing her behavior. It's emotional immaturity. There's some narcissism here as well. It can be. But these are the characteristics. This is how it happens. This is how these people are created. And guys think, oh, I'm going to get with a drama queen. As long as she looks good in the face, I don't care how she treats me. This is literally the mindset of a lot of men. Oh, you know what women are like. Sometimes they fly off the handles. I'm always like, no, I don't know what that's like. Because my girl does not fly off the handles. My woman does not start freaking out, screaming. She's never shouted at me. She doesn't raise her voice. She doesn't insult me. I've never seen any creating conflict. She's peaceful. She treats me very well. In contrast to exes I've had in the past who didn't. I chose poorly then. I chose right now. And that's what you need to do. Choose right. And when someone shows you who they are, believe them. If you've seen these characteristics, you should have alarm bells going off. Next up, how does this impact your relationship? Dating someone who frequently creates or seeks out drama, this is how you know it's because you're with a drama queen. It will exhaust you emotionally. It destabilizes your nervous system. So, unnecessary stress 101. So what's going to happen is you'll start to notice you'll lose your appetite. Your gut health is going to be messed up. The second you're around her, your emotions flare up. You can't sleep properly because of all the crap she's putting you through. You might go through a period where you will overindulge in junk food. You might be under eating because you've loss of appetite, loss of libido for life, loss of interest on your career, loss of interest on your business, loss of interest on your health. Everything becomes very grey and blurry. You'll be getting home from work and you see the guy sitting there in the car, right? Why is dad sitting 5 minutes in the car before he comes in the house? He doesn't want to see his family. We see stereotypically what the guys always say. Oh, I can't wait to get away from my wife and kids, just be alone for a while. Haha, take a golfing trip and be okay with my buddies. And guys, haha, they will laugh at it like that's so funny. It's not. That's a serious problem. Your wife, your home should be a place of joy. Whether you work from home and you have your office at home or you work outside the home, whatever your situation is, when you should yearn to be with your girl. You should be so excited to be around your girlfriend or your fiancé or your wife, gentlemen. She should be the love of your life, the one who brings you peace. You should be super excited to come home. The only thing on your mind should be, I can't wait to pick her up in my arms and give her a hug and a kiss. I've missed her so much today. If that's not your attitude when you're coming home, unless you settled, which if this is a drama queen you did, this is what you're dealing with. A woman that's causing you unnecessary problems. So you don't even miss her anymore. You can't wait to get away from her. You're coming home and you're thinking, oh, I have to deal with this again. If that's your life, or even when your phone rings and it's her, or you get a text message from her, you don't even want to respond. If it's at that point, you're with a woman that's causing you problems. It's exhausting you emotionally. If that's what you're seeing, congratulations, you're with a drama queen. And it's better to dwell in the corner of a housetop than with a brawling woman in a White House. This is what leads to unnecessary conflict and stress. And more importantly, it will begin to overshadow the positive aspects of the relationship. What's going to happen now is you're going to start to look at your relationship objectively. And you're going to look at her bad qualities and start rejecting the good ones. Maybe she's a great cook. Maybe she's funny. Or she's just whatever, there's good things about her that you really like. All of a sudden, when you see her or think of her, you don't think of those good qualities anymore. You're thinking of all the bad stuff she says and does to you because that's become your reality with her. And it's happening on such a frequent basis, that's all you see. This puts you at risk to lose your emotional attraction and pull away from her. This is how it impacts a relationship if nothing changes. So what's my advice to you if you've got a drama queen in your life? If that's what you're dating. I would assess where her behaviour stems from. If it's underlying issues, such as severe stuff that's happened to her in childhood, or maybe she's had very bad experiences with men that mistreated her, so she's used to being in a stressed environment, or she had a lot of stuff from her parents that she hasn't healed from, as long as she's aware of it and she admits to you that that's the reason why and she's willing to get help and work on her ways, up to you. But if it's a consistent pattern, she's unlikely to change. Me personally, I would walk away. I wouldn't get involved. I think at the end of the day, there's no excuse. When I met my girl, she was 19. She came from a broken home. And guess what? She wanted to date to marry. She had very strong values. And even though she came from a dysfunctional home, she made a vow to herself. She never wants to be like mum and never wants to, find a guy like dad. She wants to do things the right way. At that age, she knew right from wrong. And she's always treated me well. Why? People have a choice and people have a decision to respond to their environment. Beyond a certain age, you don't get an excuse. And some of you guys will see a woman who's dysfunctional and go, oh, her dad and her mum treated her this way and it's trauma. Yes, those things are valid. But it gets to a point where it's like, if she ain't taking accountability for what's happened to her, she's never going to take accountability for her relationship with you. How she treats you. How she's going to treat your future children. You guys are not thinking about that. Oh, I'll fix her, I'll save her. Prepare yourself when you're single for marriage. Prepare yourself for courtship when you're single, so that you can see things clearly. My girl came from that broken home. She's always treated me well. And she never speaks badly about her parents, even though there's issues there, which is private. I'm not going to discuss any of that with you all here on YouTube. But she always valued family, and she wants a husband, and she wants a big family. She wants to do it righteously because she saw what it was like to grow up in a dysfunctional home. So she chose to never be like that. And that is why I am saying, yes, things can happen in people's childhood. My parents are a bit dysfunctional. My parents have issues too, which I saw growing up, and I chose to be different. I went down this path, and hey, here is relearning relationships. So a lot of people have a choice in life. You can become just like your parents if they were dysfunctional, or you can choose to be better and be good to your future spouse and have a different life. So there is really no excuse at the end of the day. If you're really dealing with a woman that's a drama queen, I personally would leave for the reason I just stated. Because I have exes from my past when I was younger who have wonderful parents that loved them, that gave them an amazing life. And they were monstrous, narcissistic, horrible people. Like really selfish, bitter, entitled. And back then I was young, I didn't know any better. So the contrast is, you can grow up with an amazing family and still turn out to be a piece of shit. My girl now, she grew up in a dysfunctional home and chose to be good instead. And you guys are making excuses for women that are like 30 years old, 40 years old, and they're screwed up. What sort of crap is that? I see the difference. She was 19 when I met her, and she was still smart enough to know how to behave. So stop making excuses for the low quality women you're choosing, and you raise that standard, or you'll keep reaping. And if you keep dating drama queens, then you're the man who needs to change. Second up, control freak. Another Bible verse for us to cover, Proverbs 12 verse 4. A virtuous woman is a crown to her husband, but she that maketh ashamed is as rottenness in his bones. And now this is written in the King James Version of the Bible, so it's Old English from the 16th century, but I'll translate it. A good woman is a crown to her husband, but she that makes him ashamed, to be ashamed of her, it's as if his bones were to rot. What is this really saying? It's giving us a contrast. A woman that's controlling you, that's usurping your God-given authority, right? She doesn't want to be the woman. She wants to be in charge. She wants to be the leader. Look at the difference. Saying a virtuous or a good woman, she's a crown to her husband. She's an addition. And the Bible does tell us that the woman is the glory of man. Guys, your woman is supposed to make you look better in all areas of life. Because she represents you, and she represents your choice of woman. Your family, your friends, your business partners, whatever, the people you work with, they should see your woman and see what a great person she is and think, wow, Jimmy over here chose very well. We work with Jimmy, we're around Jimmy. Jimmy's not a weirdo. Jimmy must be a really great guy for a woman like that to choose him and to treat him so well. See, it's always a reflection of your standards. So a virtuous woman, she's represented as a crown. Who gets crowned? Kings, leaders of nations back in the day, monarchs. It represents power. It represents unity. It represents that you have your house in order. If you have a good woman, she's like a crown to you. It's like you might as well, you're the king, you're the boss, you're the big guy, you're the top guy. People look at you and it's like the highest form of respect. It's like, that's literally it. It's the ultimate form of like, okay, this guy knows what he's doing. That's what it's representing. It's a beautiful analogy. And that's why God thinks very highly of good women, good wives. Good women, gentlemen, they are the biggest treasure of your life, and they will represent you well. But on the opposite, a woman that doesn't treat you right, it's so bad that it's like rotting away at your bones. It's like a stench to her. It's just like, it's killing you from within. You just want to die. Have you ever seen one of your guy friends date a girl who's like controlling him, like bossing him around, and she wears the pants? You can see it in his eyes. The guy's dead inside. You look at him, he's gaining weight, right? You look at the guy, he's just miserable. He's just waiting to be buried at this point. This is literally what it's symbolizing. So if a drama queen wasn't bad enough, the control freak is. And what are the characteristics of this? This is when a woman displays overly possessive or controlling behavior, lacks trust in you, and tries to micromanage your life. You see this a lot of times with, again, in pop culture, movies, shows, right? Typical scenario they show you in like a family, right? The husband is like a stupid fool. He's bumbling all over the place, doesn't know what he's doing. He's dysfunctional, he's disorganized, out of shape, out of breath. And the wife is like strict. She's like the man of the house. She's firm. She's lecturing the husband what to do. And he's, yes, your majesty. And the kids are all cucked because of that. It's terrible. But this is the dynamics that the propaganda uses in the West to destabilize the family. Very bad role model for women to follow. And a lot of women, unfortunately, they have dysfunctional mothers or grandmothers, and they see this. And if they're not smart enough to learn from their mistakes, or they still have a lot of resentment or bitterness towards their family, they become just like them, and then they vomit those dysfunctional behaviors all over you, and you're on the receiving end. So when you see this in a woman, guys, she's trying to micromanage everything you do. How you cook your food, how you go to the gym, or whatever. Like, you're driving in the car, you're not doing this the right way. Like, a woman that's giving you that back talk, she's tearing you down, she's bringing you down. You said you're going to start a business or try to do something new. She's always discouraging you. She's very negative, very pessimistic. She knows what's best for you, but she has no expertise to give you. That's a bad sign. Whereas your godly woman is a helpmate. She's supposed to bring you up with positive encouragement, with kind words, with compliments. She's supposed to breathe life into you. She's supposed to be the crown to her husband. How is she going to be the crown to you guys when she's treating you badly? She's supposed to respect your authority. And remember, who puts the crown on? The king himself picks the crown. He puts it on himself. You can take it off whenever you want. So you choose. You're responsible for the quality of woman you choose. And putting her on top of your head and giving her that crown is a very noble role for a woman to represent you. And who you choose to marry, who you choose to date, I mean, it's going to reflect in your standards, in your choices in life. So if you choose a bad woman, it's going to start to rot away at your values, rot away at your principles, rot away at your happiness. You're going to be a very miserable man. If your woman wants to micromanage you, that's a bad sign. Because she's made to be your helpmeet, to support you, to assist you, to nurture you. A godly woman can give you advice, but it's up to you to take it or not. And oftentimes, if you have a good woman, you'll happily take her advice. But a woman that's micromanaging you, tearing you down, belittling you. And then guys, same thing with the drama stuff. They think, well, this is how it's meant to be. You know, some women are a little bit controlling, and they laugh about it. Like, their standard is so low. Well, she doesn't respect you. She doesn't know how to treat you with love. If that's your standard, fine. If that's what you want. This is when you see a woman have unrealistic expectations about your time. You need to quit that job. It's taking time away from us. You need to stop spending time with your friends all the time. And again, there is a fine line here, gentlemen. You should want to spend most of your free time with your woman. I surely do. But I know if you're with a woman like this, you don't want to spend any time with her. In such cases, your distance from her is justifiable. But when your woman starts to get involved with, you need to get rid of this friend, but there's nothing wrong with your friend. That's a problem. If you have a good woman who's using her intuition and she says, something's wrong with your friend, he's a fake. I've caught him being jealous of you. You might want to listen to your lady, right? Absolutely, guys. But if you have a woman that's already treating you badly and that she's finding more things to dig up, I don't like this friend, I don't like that friend, I don't like this family member, you're not going to do this anymore, you're not allowed to do that. uses guilt to control you or manipulate you, it's a problem. Because that woman is not submitting to your authority. She's usurping it. And the reality is, guys, feminine women, they're actually turned on and attracted to a man who's dominant, who's firm in his values, who's a good leader, and knows who he is. They don't want some weak cuck who's letting her lead. They lose attraction. But if your girl's already doing this to you, it's a guarantee she doesn't love or respect you, so you're with the wrong woman. How does this impact your relationship? Simple. Leads to a loss of personal freedom and autonomy. And unlike a drama queen when you're just going to be emotionally exhausted, with a control freak, you may have some of that, but you're going to have resentment towards this woman. Like, you just don't want to be around her. See, the drama queen might not control you. She might just get emotional, but then it dies down. She apologizes. It's all nice for a little bit. But the control freak, she's bittered. She's like embittered towards you. She's against you. She's not even on the same side as you. She's against you. So she's like an enemy. This is going to cause extreme division. So you will grow to resent this woman. And when you have that contempt, where you just, I don't like you. When that's how you view your soon-to-be spouse, your girlfriend, your fiance, whoever you're with, that's a problem. How can two walk together lest they be agreed upon, right? Amos 3:3 in scripture. It's not looking good. When you start to resent her, you don't want to be near her. So it's going to hinder your personal growth, and it creates an unhealthy codependent dynamic. Oftentimes you might not leave that woman because you feel bad for her. Or maybe she needs help or whatever. But you feel trapped. So you can't express yourself in a genuine or authentic way because you become fearful of how she's going to react, which is weakness on your part anyways. But it happens, doesn't it? Maybe this has happened to you. Maybe it's happened to you in the past. Maybe it's happened to someone you know. Everybody knows someone who's gone through something like this. What is my advice with the control freak? Establish clear boundaries and communicate your need for independence and trust. And if those behaviors persist, reconsider the relationship for your well-being. Really simple. On a third and final note, we have the perpetual victim. The amount of emails I have had over the years, and I still get, of guys that get involved with low-hanging fruit. I mean, if there was a chart of women that are good women to like bad women, like women that they're always a victim, they're at the bottom. They're in like the hell of bad women, right? There is nothing worse than being with someone that only sees herself as a perpetual victim. That everything that's ever happened around her is a lack of accountability on her end. It's always someone else's fault. Because if she cannot take accountability for the cards she's been dealt with, be grateful for what she has, work on what she needs to work on, accept what she has, and, you know, be loving and kind, be authentic and take accountability, she's not a reasonable person. She can't relate to you. There's no guarantee she can treat you well. And at any turn, she can just turn it against you. This is why, gentlemen, you need to find a woman who takes accountability for her life. As I mentioned with my girl, she grew up in a dysfunctional home. She could have chosen to go down that path and be horrible to everyone else. It's my mum's fault or my dad's fault. No. She, from a young age, knew, I want to find a husband. I'm going to save myself. I want to really find a good man. I'm going to prepare myself. I'm going to learn about dating and marriage. I'm going to vet this guy properly. I have high standards for myself. I deserve to have a good life. No bitterness, no anger towards her parents. She just got on with life. That's what I see in her. She doesn't ever blame me or anyone else. Something little bad happened. She gets on with it. In fact, you know, a lot of guys have such a low standard of women that they think that you're just going to get with a girl who does this, who has a victimhood mindset. And I completely disagree. You're responsible for the quality of woman you choose. And again, I've had girls in the past who had mindsets like that. It was always someone else's fault. It was my fault. It was her dad's fault. This happened 5 years ago and it hurt her. Yes, people have problems. Bad things happen. But in the West, unless you've been severely abused by someone, like most stuff, you can just get on with it. Heal, forgive, and move on with life. And when you get with a woman, guys, that she's stuck in the past, forget it. She ain't present with you. She's a victim. And that's why I used the example of my situation. The girl I'm with, my sweetheart, I mean, she'd been through a lot. I've never seen her complain. I don't see her whine or moan when things get difficult in life. She just gets on with it. And she still keeps her femininity and a joyful attitude, and she's giving and loving with me and everyone. I never hear her complain. I never hear her whine. I find that very attractive in a woman because she's stable mentally and emotionally. She's very intelligent, and I can talk with her about everything, right? She's grateful for what she has. She respects her parents even though they've done her wrong, and she just gets on with life. That is a quality woman, guys. I'm not saying that to toot my own horn. I'm giving you an example that you can find that. But you need to stop whining and complaining in the first place. And get the lust out of your head and stop going for women that they need to victimize themselves. Everything is someone else's fault. I'm going to fix a Christian. Amount of emails I get, I'm going to save her. Oh, you know, Christian, this girl I met, she's been through so much. All her exes treated her like shit. Oh, she's been through so much with her parents. I want to just fix her. It's find a wife, not build a wife. And then you wonder why they're 6 months into the relationship. Yeah, but she has all these problems. Everything's my fault now. You chose to try and fix one. You fix yourself when you're single, and then you go find someone. That's what men and women should be doing. Instead, you're trying to get involved with someone who's severely damaged or messed up, and you're not assessing it logically from the beginning. Oh, I'll lead her, bro. Oh, she's got a bit of problems. It's fine, bro. I'll fix it up for her, bro. And I'll look at you, sending me an email because your situation's gone so bad. That's what happens. And if you're watching this, and what I'm saying is ringing true, you're grinding your teeth right now thinking, yeah, Christian's right. Yeah, I agree completely. Raise your standards. That's it. Your standards are everything. So let's start with the Bible verse on this topic. You know, I had to have a little rant there because this one is so important. I have to save the best till the end. Proverbs 30 verse 20. Such is the way of an adulterous woman. She eateth and wipeth her mouth and saith, I have done no wickedness. Now, this verse is in the context of a woman that's unfaithful, right? She's a cheater. Typically, when a cheater gets caught, what happens? They eat, they wipe their mouth and say, I haven't done anything wrong. Lack of accountability. This is really what's going on here. When people don't have respect for themselves or others, it's easy for them to point the blame at someone else. Always. In their relation to an immoral woman that you should avoid, a woman that victimizes herself, this is what you're dealing with, guys. I've done no wickedness. And some of you get to the point where you marry someone like this and have fucking 2, 3, 4 kids with her. And it's still all your fault. Everything bad that happens is your fault. Find a woman that desires you. Find a woman that's compatible, has no red flags, and you'll live a peaceful life. Not this. What are the characteristics of a victim? I'm Mrs. Victim. Often portrays herself as a victim in various aspects of her life. Rarely takes responsibility for her actions, and frequently blames others for her problems. If you are getting to know a girl and you start to see her blaming her mother, her father, her upbringing, the people around her, her friends, the government, her bad health is someone else's problem, it's your fault, her friend's fault, God's fault, whoever she wants to blame, but herself, you need to be very careful of what you're involved with. There is a time and a place where righteously you can point the finger at someone and say, it is your fault. Absolutely. But when things have happened to you in life, as it's happened to all of us, you have a choice to make. You can be a victim and forever be enslaved by what happened to you, or take accountability, actualize the free will God has given you, and realize that there are certain cards that you've been dealt with. How can you shuffle the deck in your favor? How can you live an honest, righteous life with what you have tweak what needs to be tweaked, improve what needs to be improved, let go of what can be removed, and accept and be grateful for who you are. That's what you need to be doing. And if she can't do that, she doesn't have the IQ to do that, how are you going to raise children with her? How are you going to have a passionate, intimate marriage with a woman like that? And how are you going to be a good example for a family or to others? What is the quality of your life going to look like being with a woman like that long term? If she's like this now, is she going to get any better? She has a negative and might have a negative outlook on life and expect constant reassurance and validation from you. If she's in such a bad state, I mean, I'm not talking about your girl once in a while. Hey, sweetheart, how do I look? Do I look pretty today? Would you prefer I wear this dress or that dress? What would you like me to wear? I'm not talking about little things like that, right? Your girl wants to look good for you. She wants your love. She wants your presence, and she should. But when you have a woman and it's a little bit excessive, she needs constant reassurance. I'm not talking once a week, once a month. I'm talking nearly daily, like 3, 4, 5, 6 times a week, consistently. Are you sure you love me? Are you sure you're never going to leave me? Have I done anything wrong today? Are you upset at me? Are you angry at me? Are you mad with me? What have I done now? Or why are you so... When you're dealing with that level of neuroticism, something's wrong. I'm not saying she's to be removed from your life. We'll get to that in a second. But be mindful of this. You need someone that's present with you. You need a woman that's stable. Gentlemen, this is your life. There's a different story if you marry a woman and after 20 years something happens to her mentally and she has problems, right? You love her, you take care of her, you made a vow, you keep it. But when you're courting a woman, you're vetting for your future wife. Choose well. So again, if you're seeing these characteristics, she might always see herself as a victim and on the receiving end of whatever other people say, do and think. She has low self-esteem. You want your daughter to have healthy self-esteem? Find a good woman you can marry with a healthy self-esteem so she can be a good example to her daughter. Because women have to teach women how to be mothers and wives. You need a good woman who does that as an example to her. How does this impact your relationship though, on the next note? A relationship with someone who consistently sees herself as a victim is going to drain you because you feel the constant need to provide the emotional support without receiving any or much in return. And this dynamic can prevent the relationship from being balanced and mutually fulfilling. Why? Because when you're in a state of victimhood, you're not in a state to give and love and receive. You're in a state of lack. And when you're lacking, you can't give to others. So if she's lacking in love, how could she give any of that to you? It becomes a very one-sided relationship sooner or later. And it can cause a lot of problems. You may feel like, I'm doing everything for her. She can't do even something sweet for me, something basic for me. A lot of this can be tied to health issues as well, which must be addressed. So what is the advice within a girl who's a perpetual victim? It varies on the degree. I would encourage her to seek professional help. In this case, honestly, get her health checked out, get her metabolism, her thyroid, get her progesterone levels checked. Because if you fix her metabolism and her libido and, well, her hormones, you could say, as her body starts to work again, she might have a better outlook on life. Fixing your health is essential. And also, this will help her then maybe see more clarity into her mindset, see her wrongdoings, and she might even see the love you're giving her. And if there's a few cracks of light in the tunnel with a bit of love and help, there are cases where she can break free from this mindset and accept herself and get right with God and love you properly. But if she isn't willing to work on these issues, it may be challenging to sustain a relationship. And it just depends on how heavy this is. If it's a little bit, you can deal with it and she can work on it, great. If she can't, leave. Because if you see a woman that's always a victim, you might see a bit of a drama queen there. You might see a bit of a control freak to hold the power. There's varying degrees that you need to consider in your own personal situation. But all in all, that has been the video for today. Avoid these 3 types of women, or at least reconsider. dating them. The drama queen, the control freak, and a woman who's always a perpetual victim. It's really best to just not get involved in the first place and find a woman who's ready, willing, and able to date from a logical and sound mind. She dates to marry. There's no trauma from her past. She's ready to go. She's committed to you. And you can just have a life with her. That's what I recommend for you. So if you'd like to book my help personally, I recommend it. Going down to the link down below on the website, booking a free call with me, and fill out the questionnaire to see if you're eligible to sign up to Relationship Mastery, and I'll see you on the other side. With that said, hope you'll have a wonderful day. God bless all of you and your family. And I'll link down below here at the end of the video 5 qualities of a wife, that other video I made, which I mentioned earlier throughout this video, which I think a lot of you will benefit from if you haven't seen it already. With that said, I'll see you all in the next one.